Hey, it's Joe Zago. I don't share a lot of this stuff because it's really intimate and personal to me, but something happened yesterday that I really, it just changed my outlook on a lot of things. And it made me feel good. It really, really made me feel good. My dad, my dad has dementia and my mom has Alzheimer's. So I moved them out of their house and moved them in with me. So not only have I been a caretaker for my 9-year-old son, just turned 9, I've also been a caretaker for both of my parents as of a couple months ago. And my dad has some days are good where he's sharp as ever. He's almost 90 years old. And then other days, he'll ask me what year it is 3 dozen times in a day and forget that he asked me the same question 5 minutes ago. Or he'll ask me how old he is, or he knows my name, obviously, and he knows a lot of other things, but he'll forget everything that's happened in the last few years. And it's been really hard. And so sometimes he has good days and sometimes he has bad days, and he starts getting frustrated with himself and starts hitting himself in the head and says, my brain doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. And it drives him nuts, and my mom's going through something similar as well. A little differently between the two of them, but they're both going through the same kind of, challenges, where they're not themselves. And it's really been tough. And so I've been really trying to take this time to spend quality time with my mom and dad. And, for 20 years, I was chasing a career, chasing girls, chasing the nightclubs, chasing all this different stuff in my life, but not really spending the quality time being present with the people that mean the most, my family. And until recently, when I moved them in with me, I'm really kind of grasping the concept of the value of time more so than the value of money and material things and the flash and all that other crap. What really matters is family. And anyway, so I took my parents to Hawaii a couple months ago. I took them down to Key West. I took them to Mexico last week, and we're just I want to soak up as much awesome stuff as we possibly can before they're unable to do it anymore. And last night my mom wanted to go see the new James Bond movie, so I was tired as hell. I said, let's go. And we went to go see the James Bond movie, and it was 3 hours long, and my dad had to get up 3 times to go to the bathroom, and I gotta make sure he doesn't fall, and it was a challenge, but it was good. And we get back to the house, and he goes, boy, I'm beat. And so I walk him up the stairs, and he's going to bed, and my mom was still downstairs, so I went downstairs to hang out with my mom, and for about 45 minutes, and then I go upstairs to bring my mom to bed. And my dad is just sitting. There's a set of stairs in my house, and then it goes up to a third level with another set of stairs that you can't see until you kind of get up on them. And so I get up to the main upper level, and I see my dad sitting down, staring at the wall with this joyous smile on his face. I'm like, oh no, he's in one of his moments. I thought he was, thinking he's back in the Philippines during the Korean War or something, and out of touch with reality or something. And I said, hey, Dad, how you doing? I go and put my arm on his shoulder, and he goes, I'm doing better than I've done in a long time. And I said, well, why is that? And he goes, well, I couldn't figure out the washing machine. I didn't know what side was the power button. I didn't know what side. And so he's going off in the laundry machine, and then he starts talking about his checkbook and not being balanced. And he goes, but man, he goes, I've been sitting on these stairs for the last half hour, staring at all the pictures on your wall here in the hallway. And he goes, boy, you have a beautiful family. He said, your son looks at you and loves you. You've really built a great life for yourself, and your son is just such a good son. I could have never asked for a better child of myself. You are such a good dad. And I said, thanks, Dad. Let's go to bed. And I didn't let myself feel it, because I still kind of beat myself up over things from earlier on in my life, even things that I've gotten over. I still kind of beat myself up out of feelings of shame or guilt from earlier on in life. So I don't let good things really consume me to where it nurtures and makes me feel joy. And this morning, I started thinking more about it. And I went to my AA meeting, and when it came time to me, I started sharing about what had happened last night and this moment with my father. And I started crying just because how good it felt, because I was thinking, I remember on my 2 days after my 16th birthday, I got arrested in front of my house after my parents had gone to bed. And the cops said, well, we're going to wake up your parents. They put me in handcuffs. They said, lead the way to your mom and dad's room. I said, they're sleeping. And they said, well, you got to wake them up. And there's 5 cops in my house when I'm 16 years old. And my mom's in her yellow robe sleeping on the bed. And they told me to wake her up. I wake her up, and my mom looks, and she startles, and she starts crying. She sees me in handcuffs, and my dad jumps up out of bed. And my dad's so angry. He's not mad at the cops. He's mad at me. He's smacking me, and he goes, get out of my life. He goes, this is the 27th time, I believe, that I was arrested. I mean, I was arrested constantly when I was a teenager. I was a rotten punk. And I think this was like the 27th time or something that I was being arrested. And my dad says, I'm done with you. You're not my son. I'm washing my hands of you. Good riddance. Keep him. He was so angry, and I'll never forget that. And I wound up going to a placement out in Massachusetts for 3.5 years. And when I got out, it didn't fix me completely. It saved me for a period of those crazy years. It postponed a lot of that time. But when I got out, I was still getting in trouble. I got arrested 6 times after that as a young adult. And I thought to myself, even 12 years ago, I was homeless. I was squatting in my buddy's basement after my DUI, my license revoked, my house got repossessed, I lost my job, I lost my license it was revoked for 5 years, I think. And I mean, I was 35 years old, I was a bum. And my dad kept having to bail me out, buy me tires for my cars or pay for my car insurance. And I never thought there'd ever be a day that my dad would actually look at me like he did when I was 7 or 8 years old and say, I'm proud of you. And when my dad said that to me yesterday, I didn't feel it at first, but man, it warmed me all day today. And it really made me think the only regret that I have right now is that I didn't get serious with my life 20 years sooner or 30 years sooner. If I would have got my ass sober, AA doesn't just teach me how to stay away from alcohol. It teaches me how to live. It teaches me how to clean up my wreckage from my past. It teaches me how to get over my guilt, ask for forgiveness, and whether they forgive me or not, I began to forgive myself. I learned to make amends. I learned to take responsibility, and I just learned to live right, and I learned to help other people in the process. And out of all the things that I've ever achieved in my life, my dad doesn't even know I bought an $8 million building a week ago. An $8 million building! I own 4 houses free and clear. I've got $1 million plus in cars. I've got lots of money saved in the bank and invested. None of that shit means a thing. All that flashy stuff doesn't mean nothing compared to what my dad said to me last night. There's one thing in this world that's worth more than anything in the world, and that's time. And I suggest anybody who watches this, quit fucking around. Don't waste time spinning your wheels. Clean up the wreckage, make amends, do whatever you got to do to get those important relationships on the right page. I wish I would have done this when my parents had a clear, coherent, conscious mind, and I could have spent 20 or 30 years doing all the things that I would have loved to do and have that relationship with my parents that I wish I could have had during those other years. But thank God I've got those right now, and they live long enough to see how I turned my life around and that I'm a good force for good in society. And I'm grateful for having those parents that I've had, but I'm really grateful for my recovery and my transformation into who I've become. And I'm glad that my dad eventually, when he can go to rest, or my mom, when she goes to her grave, that they can go to bed with peace. Because I thought that they'd always be tossing and turning in their grave, worrying about what's going to happen for the rest of eternity to their kids. So I feel good about that today. And I'm letting that feeling nurture me and feel good. And I don't know why I'm deciding to share this in public forum, but it's just something that I'm really proud of, because my parents mean the world to me. And I just hope to God that I can be as good of a dad. My dad, when he said he washed his hands with me, it's because he loved me so much and he was frustrated. I hurt him so badly. But he was always there for me. And I hope that I can be a father half as good to my son as he was to me. And I hope that when I'm old like my dad, that I'm just as proud of Giovanni as my dad is with me right now. Anyways, I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful. None of this stuff would have been possible if it wasn't for the people that I go to my meetings with every day. My old boss always used to say, if you want what they've got, you got to do what they did. And I just try to copy people that are successful at not just business, but in recovery and spirituality and just in their relationships. And I just want to copy all that stuff the best I can because I want to be better. I'm never good enough. I want to be better. And so I'm a product of my surroundings. I surround myself with people that are trying to do better in their life. I surround myself with people that have family values and that want to be good parents. I go to church every week. And there's a million churches between my house and the one that I go to, Kensington and Troy. But I really love the pastor over there, and I love the message that they give us. And it's not a religious church; it's more of a spiritual church. And I learn an awful lot from it. And these things, these ingredients that are in my life, help me be a better person. And I'm glad I finally stumbled across these things. I wish I would have done it many years ago, but it just wasn't my time. It's God's plan, not mine. So any suggestions that I can make is quit fucking around. Seriously, quit wasting time. If you ask any person that's got millions of dollars, they're in their hospice bed and they've got a week left to live, would they trade everything, millions of dollars, just to have one more month or one more day or one more week or whatever, one more year with their kids? Anybody would trade it, everything they've done their entire life, to be able to get that one extra day or week or month or year. But we don't take those days for granted. We take those days for granted until the end is coming near. And I'm really learning by spending this time with my parents, my own mortality. I mean, I'm going to die. Everyone's going to die one day. And I want to make the best use of every single day possible. And anyway, that's a lesson that I've been learning. And I don't know why I shared that, but maybe some of those things can resonate with you, and maybe you'll, put a conscious decision in your head to make a few changes in your life. AA has helped me so much. Church has helped me so much. Changing my friends has helped me so much. When I hang around assholes, I'm an asshole. When I hang around good people, I want to be good. And that rubs off on me. So anyways, maybe it'll rub off on you. Have a good day.